Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Brad Browning, a relationship coach and author of the best-selling X Factor Guide program. I'm often referred to as the Back Geek because I've spent most of the past decade helping people from around the world recover from breakups and win back their ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend. In this video, I'm going to do something that's a little different from the rest of my videos here on YouTube. I'm going to share with you a couple of stories from my past coaching clients, each of whom ignored my advice and did some very stupid things that killed their chance of ever getting back together with their ex. Now, since these are real stories from past clients that I've worked with, I'm going to change the names, locations, and other details to protect the privacy of these customers. Confidentiality is very important to my clients, so I don't want to embarrass anyone publicly here. I just want to share their stories with you so that you can learn from their mistakes. Client number one, David from New Jersey. Let's start with a client that I worked with some time ago. We'll call him David. David had signed up for my X Factor Guide program 3 weeks after his girlfriend of 2 years dumped him. David was certain that she dumped him because she was too busy with her college schoolwork, and he refused to believe me when I explained that his ex was likely not being truthful when she told him why she wanted to break up. Now, David's first mistake was to completely disregard the no contact theory that I advocate in my program. This is a very important part of winning back your ex, and it's almost always the best thing to do in the first few weeks after a breakup. The numerous texts David sent to his ex weren't the kind of attraction-building messages that I recommend in my program. Instead, David sent her incredibly boring stuff, asking her what's up and how's it going. Occasionally, he'd mix in a message telling his ex how much he missed her and how badly he wanted to get back together. David signed up for my one-on-one coaching service after 2 weeks of unsuccessfully pestering his ex with boring texts. I explained to him that these types of messages were going to do more harm than good, and he seemed to accept this, and he agreed to stop messaging her. Unfortunately, he didn't make it more than 48 hours before sending another message, this time via Facebook. And contrary to my advice and everything I recommend in my X Factor program, David spilled his guts to his ex in this Facebook message. He wrote several thousand words explaining how he wanted to get married and how great things would be if she just give him another shot. I can only give my clients advice on what to do. I can't actually force anyone to follow my advice. In this case, David's insistence on ignoring everything I'd said to him was the nail in the coffin. His ex didn't reply to the gigantic Facebook message, but she did have one of her friends call David and ask him to stop pestering her, and that she never wanted to hear from him again. Ouch. Naturally, he did continue to attempt contact with his ex sporadically throughout the next couple of weeks, never getting a reply and always making himself look more and more desperate. Finally, I convinced David that he'd ruined his chances of winning her back, and he was able to eventually move on and start dating other women. It's unfortunate that David was so unwilling to accept my advice because he had a very good chance of saving his relationship in the first couple of weeks after being dumped. But by completely ignoring the fundamental steps in my program and pestering his ex with counterproductive messages, he drove her away for good. So don't do what David did. Stick to the proven tactics that I outline in a video on my website, www.breakupbrad.com, and in my X Factor Guide program. Client number two, Chloe from Australia. Chloe was a client who signed up for coaching about a year ago, trying to get back together with her on and off boyfriend of 6 years. Chloe was in her mid-30s and her ex was a few years younger. Chloe's situation was a mess from the get-go because she'd essentially been stalking her ex for a month, driving past his house late at night and showing up at his gym when she knew he'd be there. After talking with Chloe for a few days, it became clear that she was insecure, and the jealousy and her controlling behavior was what led to this point and caused the downfall of her relationship. She was constantly telling me about her ex's movements, asking whether I thought the woman her ex had been talking to outside the gym was a new girlfriend, and so on. Now, obviously, I made it very clear to Chloe that this type of behavior was 100% guaranteed to drive her ex further away. I gave her some suggestions on how to be more productive with her time, focusing on rebuilding her ex's attraction and shedding the image of desperation that she'd been projecting to her ex since the breakup. I thought that Chloe had understood and completely changed her tactics until I received this email from her about a week ago or so after we began chatting. She wrote to me and said, "Brad, I totally screwed up big time. On Monday night I saw John is not her ex's real name of course, at that photography class I told you about, and he was with some other woman I'd never seen before, so I confronted him and the girl and got really angry and started crying and screaming at him in the class. It was just so stupid, Brad. Now I just got a phone call saying that I have to appear in court because John has asked for me for a restraining order. Oh my God, Brad, I'm such an idiot. I ruined everything, didn't I?" Now at this point, obviously, I had to tell Chloe to face up to the reality of the situation. I tried to email her to follow up a week or two later, but she never replied, and I haven't heard from her since. It's a sad story, and I don't know how things ended for Chloe, but I think there's a learning here for everyone watching. When your ex has to have a restraining order against you, it's probably time to back off and move on. Client number 3, Warren from Singapore. Okay, the final client I want to tell you about, we'll call him Warren, is also a bit of a sad, pathetic story. To make a long story short, Warren's relationship had ended more than 9 months before he got in touch with me. It was actually never really a very serious relationship to begin with, so naturally the odds were stacked against him. And although I usually feel confident that I can help clients get a second shot with their ex, I knew that Warren needed to give up and move on. So I told him that, and I gave him some suggestions on how to move on and find love again. Not long after I first started working with Warren, he did something that to this day still blows my mind. He showed up at his ex's house 9 months since their breakup and over 2 months since they'd last spoken, got down on one knee and proposed to her. Not only did this make his ex extremely embarrassed, it also became very awkward for Warren when he realized that his ex's new boyfriend was there to witness the whole proposal. I actually continued to coach Warren for a few months after his disastrous decision to ask his ex to marry him, and he was able to find a new girl within a month or two, so thankfully this story does have a happy ending. But even though Warren did find happiness eventually, there's one thing I can say for sure, and that's that proposing marriage to an ex you haven't spoken with in nearly a year, while her new boyfriend watches the whole thing, is not a particularly good idea. So that's 3 clients who failed to take my advice and tried to go their own route. Thankfully, these are isolated incidents, and most of my clients are successful. Most of them don't propose to their ex out of the blue or turn into certified stalkers. If you're in this situation and you're trying to figure out how to get a second chance with your ex, don't go it alone. Grab a copy of my X Factor Guide program by visiting www.breakupbrad.com or sign up for personal coaching and I'll give you ongoing personalized guidance so that you know exactly what to do and say to win back your ex. If there are any spots available right now, you can sign up at breakupbrad.com/coaching. Now I can only work with a limited number of clients at any given time, so sign up right now if you do see that I have some availability. And that's it for now. Please click the like button below if you enjoyed this video, and feel free to share your feedback or questions in the comments section below. I'll try my best to respond. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.